my interest is to bring psychology into the house. That's my degree. So I'm still learning this type of topics.
We can hear you, Edu. You're muted.
Thank you for that. You are right. I was muted. As I was saying, yes. So thank you, Danny, for that. I think we all felt a little bit lost when we entered the space. So we'll get back to that later. And then I will pass it on to Cypher, if you can hold.
I can, yes, I'll put my camera on. Let's see, well, I left the corporate world about 5 months ago. Previously, I was working in a software as a service company doing business development and marketing. I led a team of 80 people and decided to transfer fully to this nebulous concept of being of benefit to the world. And I've been scanning the Web3 landscape, looking for kind of whose value aligned. Some of the training I have is as a living system and regenerative practitioner, and also an NDC as well. So that got me pretty pumped about Gravitron, and seeing that that's active in the community, I think is really important. My background collegiately is political science and business administration. I have a master's in public policy, and for me, I've been kind of tracking the different breadcrumbs in the Web3 space, and I see how DAOs, with kind of the overlap of governance and smart contracts, actually provide some really important solutions, I think, to the meta crisis and the many social problems that we have. And so I wound up at Common Stack and TEC, researching UBI and who's working on microeconomies that can actually scale some solutions. And I think that what Common Stack is working on is a really big, important part. I'm pretty passionate about the commons, about open technology, and yeah, I'll stop there. But that's a little about me.
Thank you so much for sharing, Cypher. So I will pass it on to Monster. Welcome to the orientation call. We are asking everyone about a little bit which is your time zone, what gets you here to the DC, what is your point of interest, and if you feel like sharing a little bit about your background. So I'll pass it to you, Monster. I will count down to zero. Because we cannot hear you, Monster. Maybe you are muted. Five, four, three, two, one. Then I can get back to you, and I will pass it on to Lee 0007.
Good morning, all. My name's Renee. It's 6 a.m. out here in New Zealand. I have come to TEC via a sort of commons simulator. I really loved that. I was in Kernel, and we came across like the Param parties that you guys have been having, and it turns out that I just have this really keen interest in tokenomics. So that's kind of why I've come here, but also I can see that the TEC, so I'm also over at Bitcoin. I'm a contributor at the Bitcoin Aragon and Index Co-op. And TEC, I guess, like Bitcoin seems to me to have a real public goods focus, which in real life kind of aligns with the non-profit governance work that I've done in the past decade. My background is strategic business, growth and performance, but in DAOs, I just find my way to doing what I need to do. I'm really looking forward to the debate process that you guys are undertaking. I feel like I've already learned so much just by doing the Korean party and looking at the augmented bonding curve. Yeah, keen to learn more about that. Thanks.
Thank you, and thank you for waking up so early for this call or for being here. It really means a lot to us. And then I will pass it on to GB Sita. Welcome to your orientation call. JB Sita. I don't know if I'm butchering your name. I'm so sorry. But if you are speaking, you are muted, so we cannot hear you. So I will get back at you later on whenever you fix your mic. And then I will pass it on to Edgar. Welcome. How are you doing? Nice. Everyone. Well, gentlemen, Mexico, 19 years old. I am Carlos. I am studying finance. I'm really interested in economics, and I want to my expectations about engineering is like make that discipline to Latin America a better opportunity. So it's my like second week here, and I'm really I'm really happy with all the work that you are doing, guys. So that's it. Thanks for Thank you, Edgar, and thanks for staying another week with us. Now I will pass it on to our stewards, our community members, our person on the call. You can introduce yourself a little bit to the rest of the new people here on the call, and just say what is your focus in the TEC and why are you here? Also, for everyone to know what is your point of interest in the TEC. And I will start this, pass it on to Nate.
Yeah, thank you. I am one of the students at the Token Engineering Commons. I work on kind of this cross collaboration between working groups. See myself as the link between them and sharing information and helping out with certain initiatives. My original interest was like a lot of you, it's just in the public good space. I did my undergrad in geology, and then I did my master's in public administration with a focus on policy. And so I think that uh, developing DAO infrastructure that helps with public goods and non. And I will pass it on to Chewy.
Thank you, Nate. My name is Chuy, and I'm the steward for communications. Lately, we've been working a lot on promoting parameters parties. We're starting to work on promoting debates this week. But pretty soon after the comments upgrade, which probably Edu will tell you more about in the next weeks. I'm sorry, it's gonna happen in the next weeks. so I've been working a lot with the rest of the communications contributors to structure a way in which we can provide communications. Use your help, so feel free to shoot us a DM or show up to the communications call, which happens on Tuesdays. And yeah, I guess that's it for me. I'll pass it to Tam, the steward of stewards.
Hi, I'm Tamara, and I'm the steward for the Stewards Working Group, and very excited to join this orientation every week and see so many new faces, and of course some active community members as well. Yeah, I also co-steward Communitas with Eduardo, so we have a lot going on, and I'll pass back to, maybe I'll pass to, okay, Juanca, have you gone?
Yeah, go ahead, Juanca.
No, thank you. Yeah, my name is Juan Carlos Bell. I am a political scientist, and I have a master's degree in conflict management. And yeah, I steward the Gravity Working Group, that is an initiative to develop conflict competence in the DAO space. and to have agents that can help you in different situations. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Um,
I can take it for you. No worries.
okay.
Thank you. I will pass it on to the new two members who joined the call. Welcome, Oksana, and welcome, Usua, to the invitation call. We start by having a small introduction, how do you get to the DEC? What is your time zone? What is your point of interest? And anything about your background that would you like to share? So I will pass it on to Oksana. Oksana, if you're talking, you are muted, so we cannot hear you. I can get back at you later on, and then I will pass it on to Usua Silver.
I am in the Pacific time zone. So I joined because I'm really interested in the topic of token engineering. Is it okay if you repeat the questions, please?
Yeah, of course. And what is a little bit of your background? And yeah, something else you would like to share about yourself or whatever you feel like comfortable sharing.
Okay, I'm currently a computer science student and I am learning on my own to become a Web3 dev. I'm currently a part of the Backlist DAO. I'm looking to expand their content into the Vietnamese branch. That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much for joining. And then I will pass it on to Eureka John. Welcome to Rotation College, John. And basically, same question. A little bit about yourself. How do you get here? Point of interest in the DEC and time zone or any place where are you at the moment?
Hey guys, yeah, sorry, I just jumped on. I was on another call, but I joined yesterday, and I'm heavily involved with the Bank style as well. I'm one of the core contributors in the Audio-Visual Guild, and we're actually working heavily on the podcast hatchery right now to be able to form new podcasts and develop them from concept to sponsored product. I'm also deeply involved with the Taoist DAO as well, and that DAO aims to be a repository and a reference place for all projects wanting to form their own DAOs as well. And once again, I'm on the content events team forming podcasts and doing audio-visual stuff there. I'm in Austin, Texas, and I have my own show as well, and just go live every single morning and just kind of brain dump whatever crypto news and stuff I learn out there. And I came across TEC because, well, I covered rainbow rolls on my show, and then I bought a rainbow roll NFT, and I got involved in that community, and I got I guess an inside scoop on Giveth.io, and I talked about Giveth as well and got into conversation with Lauren over there, and then hopefully we can work together with the Taoists and do some interviews with Giveth, and hopefully get involved with you guys as well, and maybe because the Taoist is looking at launching a token as well, so this might be very helpful to be able to look for you guys' help. So that's really what brought me here.
Thank you, John. Thank you so much. Actually, we love the Taoists. We were part of the Taoists on NCC this past July. So Taoists plus us. Thank you for joining.
You may be confusing Taoist with Taoists.
Oh yes, I'm confusing it. Oh, they're different. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Will you mind sharing the links to your project, your podcast on the Long channel? We love to see content from other people too. So thank you for the correction also.
No problem.
And I will pass it on to Botched Way. Welcome to the orientation call. We are going through a little bit about yourself, where are you from or where are you based, and a little bit about how do you arrive to the TEC?
Hey, yeah, how's it going? Boss Sway, you guys can call me David. I'm based in Boston, and I'm from, actually, yo, my man D right there. He dragged me in here from the 40 acres Dow. I'm sitting in, and I just kind of wanted to process and really kind of get the vibe of the space.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Durgaras. I will pass it to you next also to introduce yourself. Go ahead.
Hi. Nobody and nothing, and no one should listen to anything I say. I'm just like, I just hang around and do what I can. So I care about the people. I don't care much about the tech, even though I'm a lifetime techie. I don't care much about the money, even though that's nice. But yeah, if you need something and you're having issues or conflicts or whatever, it's serve one and be here for all of you guys. So yeah, we do what we can in that regard. I'll pass it to whoever hasn't gone. Sorry.
Don't you worry, Aloysius. Would you mind?
Yes, I can go. Hello, I am Aloysius. I use they, them pronouns. I am one of the trusted seeds in the Commons. I float around to all the projects that bring me joy. I'm in the rewards working group, the Communitas working group, and I'm trying to spin up something along the lines of accessibility with some other group members, trying to get like maybe some drop-in workshops in our ecosystem where tech folks can come and learn stuff about design and accessibility as far as using making sure screen readers can use the stuff that you're using and etc. Kind of what I'm excited about around here.
Thank you so much. And we'll check on Oksana. Is your mic working by any chance? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If not, finally, GB Zeta. Is your mic working? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There you go. So, officially, welcome everyone to the orientation call. This is so lovely to have you here. This is a lovely crowd. We are a safe space. You may put your camera on, you may not put your camera on. Everything is okay. Feel free to raise your hand or to mute yourself if you want to talk or ask any questions along the way of this orientation call. So a lot of you enter by different circumstances, kernel, params parties, debate parties, Gitcoin, Giveth, and so on. And sometimes when people arrive from different point of sources, they don't know what actually the TEC do, and it's a little bit tricky sometimes to like pinpoint what we actually do for other people. So we came out with the mission, vision, values, and this is a little exercise we do at the beginning of every call, and we ask one of our stewards or one of our community members to interpret their own version of the mission, vision, values, and how it is passionate for them. And I would love to, Juanca, since you're here, if you would like to talk about the mission, vision, values, and in your own words, we have in the screen also if you want to read it. But yeah, if you feel like sharing.
Yes, I do. The vision is to enable the creation of ethical, safe, resilient, and diverse economic systems to benefit societies around the world. And the mission is that our goal is to become a selling point for the token engineering community. And we have 2 layers. One is an economic layer that will fund projects that discover, develop, and proliferate the best practices for engineering safe tokenized economies, while aligning our collective success with the individual benefit of token holders. And the second layer is our social layer, that is even more important, and as it will unite the token engineering field around the ethical principles, standards, tools, and methodologies that emerge as this nascent field advances.
Thank you so much, Juanca. So, Nate, would you like explaining a little bit of what is a shilling point? Because sometimes we use a lingo that is not universally known. So go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, so we want the token engineering comments to become a selling point for token engineering in general. And so what that means is that we want everything oriented with token engineering to come from the TE Commons. And we want this to be a home for any type of token engineers. And as you will learn further on, that this is a multidisciplinary field of study. We need economics, we need policy, we need sociologists. Everybody comes to this field of academic study to study token engineering, and we want this to be the place where this kind of flowers, if you will. We want to have as many people involved in the science of token engineering as we possibly can, so we can further this field for the sustainable and ethical design of microeconomies within DAOs, within token economies around the world. So to me, that is the Schelling point. This is where you come. This is the community that is doing it. So that's what we want to become.
Thank you so much, Nate. You're on point with that. And welcome also, Wyoming and Wright, to the orientation call. We will get back at you for introducing yourself, if you will. Yes, Wyoming, sorry. Sorry that I saw you in mute. And then there is something interesting about this MVV, this mission, vision, values. This mission, vision, values was decided by the community. There was no core group picking this text or saying this is what we have to do. And at another time, would you like to explain a little bit about the process of how this is very important for us, the community decisions? If you are there, Tab, okay, there you go.
Can you just say that again?
Sorry, no worries. Yeah, just to explain a little bit of the process of how we pick the mission, vision, values, and why it was so important for us.
Oh, absolutely. So it was crowdsourced, really, the mission, vision, and values. We used the process that it was basically the prototype for the process that we've used to sort of crowdsource all other community decisions, like the parameters for the hatch, and then the parameters for that we're selecting now for the Commons upgrade. And we had the community reflect on what our mission, vision, and values should be, and then had anyone in the community submit a proposal that were then logged in GitHub. These proposals were then, sort of forked, and people took pieces of one mission and added it to another value and refined some language and changed things up, and then eventually all of the holders of the tokens were able to vote on the final mission, vision, and value. So it was one of the first iterations of our completely community-wide crowdsourcing decision-making process. I'll pass back to Eduardo.
Thank you. And thank you. Yes, and this is a core aspect of our community. We do not have this what we call technocracy approach. We have a community approach, and governance is really important for us. And then, of course, this mission, vision, values needs to be executed by someone in somehow and in some way. And the way that we accomplish this is by having working groups. We have 11 working groups at the moment. Each of them have a steward, or each of them have two stewards, depending on the person and the working group, sorry. And then I have to make clear this: every working group have their agenda. Every working group have open calls. Even though it could be strange to you, even though the topic could be maybe you feel it's too expert or too complicated to understand, you can feel free to jump in, listen to the call, or listen to the meeting. Now we have changed a little bit the Discord, so you will see the agenda at the bottom, next to the title of the text channel of the working group. So you can access the agenda and see what's going on, what they are talking about, even if you join later to the call. So don't stop the titles of the working group. Inspire you to join the calls, and I welcome you to be part of those calls if you feel like. So we have 11 working groups. We have the stewards of the stewards, which is Tam. Will you like explain a little bit about the stewards and a little bit about organization and how we organize ourselves?
Sure.
So, Wyman, I will proceed to mute you until you. There you go.
Cool.
Go ahead, Tam. Sorry.
Cool. So we have 11 different working groups. I guess if you're not counting the stewards, there is 10 different working groups. And they all have specific concentrated focus on a particular subject. SoftGov is focused on SoftGov, Common Swarm is focused on development, Communitas is focused on community building and onboarding and making a warm experience for newcomers and for our community members to enjoy. And each of these working groups are very sort of focused on their own work streams. So the stewards working group is the sort of transversal layer where coordination happens across all the different working groups. And that's sort of the primary reason, was sort of this ability to better coordinate multiple different streams of work that had interdependencies that we would discover too late. So now we follow the light framework Scrum. We do sprint planning. We have a 2-week cadence. We do sprint retrospectives. So we are continuously improving based on empirical data. And we do a review basically every week. So every week the working groups present their work to the entire community, and that serves the purpose as our sprint review. And it's also a place where stewards have become the knowledge keepers of the community, who know what's happening in the different working groups, who know what initiatives we have, and who to talk to, and how to help guide people in the community. So we act as the civil servants of the community. The three sort of criteria is servant leaders that are active and present and that are in the know of the TEC community. So simply, those are like the three characteristics that the stewards hold. And we get together to have weekly syncs on how things are going in our community, to raise any red flags if there's any issues that we need to address, and also to sort of to share the successes and the things that are going well as well. So, the steward that might be working in one working group that doesn't have so much visibility in the other will, on a weekly basis, see what's going on in all the other working groups as well. And we also host a stewards council where we discuss more complex subjects. So it's a discussion group that lasts usually the entire hour, and usually on one subject, because sometimes there's meatier issues for us to discuss and try to brainstorm and find alignment on. And all of our calls are open. All of our calls in the TEC are open. And even though it's the stewards working group, we do welcome other people to come and join and participate and share their opinion. It's like every other working group, open to everyone. And I'll pass back to you, Eduardo.
Thank you, Tam. And yeah, I mean, I read on Twitter the other day that coordination was one of the struggles with us at the moment. Next to onboarding, next to all these factors. And one thing that Tam didn't mention is the aspect of you can have a coordination aspect with a specific or a very special touch of empathy, and a very this is just a very brief impromptu. But for example, the first group of people who celebrate when I got married was on a store call. We have this special touch to our community members, and this is something that it's valued, and I think it's worth mentioning in the aspect of coordination. Coordination is not only a whole aspect. It's not only like giving you have to do this, or this is the way you do things. So this is also something relevant to mention. Then we have SoftGov. SoftGov working group is the working group that dedicates to research, best practices on governance, social collaboration, and it's also the working group that started the contribution reward system, and of course implementing the A principle of Hofstrom. The A principles of Hofstrom are a key part of our community. They are one of the backbones of our community. If you are not familiar with Eleanor Ostrom principles, we have certain links. I don't know if you are in the spot to just briefly talk about the A principles if you feel like.
Yeah, sure. I can give you a broad understanding of what they're designed to do. So Eleanor Ostrom set out the 8 Principles of Governing the Commons is kind of her lifelong work, where she studied different common pooled resource managements all over the world throughout history and evaluated which ones were successful and which ones sustained over generations in periods of time. And what she found was that there are these 8 principles that were present in all successful commons management. And so we've taken those principles and we've tried to implement them within the TEC. And if you look at the TEC handbook, we have the clearly defined boundaries, congruence between appropriation and provision of conditions, and then we have collective choice arrangements, mutual monitoring, graduated sanctions, conflict management resolution, nested enterprises, and so on, and minimal rights storylines. And so these are kind of concepts that if you go deep into them, you'll understand like what benefits they have for these types of public organizations or these kind of social coordination things. Because at the end of the day, what she discovered was these is kind of a framework for creating sustainable human institutions, and that's what we want to create with the Token Engineering Commons and other commons around the world. So that's kind of a broad overview, but it's definitely worth going and investigating.
Thank you. Yeah, this is just a small explanation to just understand out of our framework and how we interact between each other and how the organization works. I want to make a small pause before keep going with the working groups. We have new people on the rotation call. We have Catalyst. Would you like to just briefly, we will give 1 minute each. If you feel like to express how did you arrive to a TEC, what is your point of interest, and a little bit of your background, if you feel like. If you are talking, Catalyst, you are muted and we cannot hear you. So I will count down to 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I will pass it on for the same to Musashi, 13. We are having bad luck today. And I will pass it on to, we'll pass it on to Wright. All right.
Hi, guys.
Oh, there you go.
Hi. Nice to meet you. So,
nice to meet you. Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, my name is Wright. Sorry developer, professor certified, and currently I'm at Durham Finance. How did I get to know about TEC? I was trying to research about token engineering development and the likes, and then I got a link on Google, and then I read about TEC and what the whole group is all about, and decided to join. I've been part of the Discord for a while, although I've not been really active. But when I think a couple of weeks ago, I was reading on the group, and I realized that there was an orientation call that actually happens, because candidates that I joined, I've actually been most times lost, because sometimes I join the community call and stuff, and I see what's going on, but most times I really don't understand what's really happening. So I decided I was going to join one of the rotation calls, and that's why I'm here today. So really for me, right, I'm a solid developer. Apart from writing the code, the power use of the smart contracts, I'm also interested in how it is engineered and how it's being distributed, and how members of the community can participate in using the token. So that's what I hope to learn from being part of this group or channel. That's me.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Wright. And welcome back to the loop. And then we'll pass it on to Renato for the same questions. Renato, if you're talking, you are muted, so I will come down to 1.
Yeah,
there you go.
I'm here. Hey, yes, greetings from Peru. I am Renato. I had a background in finance and business, and I'm so excited to be here today. It's my first a friend taught me about this DAO. and I'm so interested in learning more about how this tokenomics and token engineering work. It's mostly my second month in DAOs and crypto mostly. So that's me.
Thank you so much, Renata. So basically, just to provide context, we are going through our working groups and the way we organize ourselves. And we are lucky that we have comms and gravity working groups stewards here today. And so I will pass it on to Juanca to describe a little bit about gravity working group and what is so essential for us. Go ahead, Juanca.
Yeah, the thing is that conflict is natural in social groups and in all kinds of levels, and it's important for us to be prepared to manage it within our individual self and the way we understand situations. And also we train people to facilitate management when it's needed between two conflictive parties. And we try to promote the understanding that conflict itself it's not negative, and it's rather a transformative energy that can bring us a lot of learning, and that can take us to a better situation than the one we started with. It's not easy, and we train people to mediate, but also we are making a very big and strong effort to have a culture of understanding and of empathy and of compassion. Like we talk to each other with a lot of respect, and we try to not point at others, but we rather try to respect difference, and like using nonviolent communication. And also within the Gravity Working Group, we are doing a book club where we are studying the book Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg. And yeah, the idea is that all the community is able to communicate and to express with each other in a way that we build trust, and that we build a culture that is more comprehensive to human needs in this Web3 space.
Thank you, Juanca. And yeah, of course, but thank you so much for that, Juanca. A bunch of you are here also because of token economics, because of token engineering. So we cannot forget one of our key working groups, which is Harams. Nate, will you like to explain what Harams do, the Harams parties, the Haram debates? Probably a lot of you guys have been in the Haram party, but we still have a bunch of more events like this. So Nate, take it away.
That's a lot to cover. The Param working group is dedicated to collectively designing both the DAO and DAO tooling. So right now we have our parameter debates and our parameters working group that has designed our configuration dashboard. And the idea is that we want to be able to educate the community about what parameters are involved in creating a DAO, what parameters are involved in creating your own economy. And so we went through a painstaking process of trying to develop this configuration dashboard and all the education modules associated with it, so that you, any layman, can understand what is going on with the economy. And so the idea is that we want to educate everybody and have everybody submit their own proposals, and to understand the parameters, the implications they have for the economy that you're designing. And so at the end of the day, the parameters working group is trying to inform and educate people on what we're designing as collectively as a group, and to have you have the ability to make your own proposals that we may vote on at the end of the day. And so if you're very technically enabled and you kind of like enjoy the not so much the smart contract development, but kind of the ins and outs of the economy, of a token economy, this is the type of working group that is meant for you. So Yeah.
There you go. It was not so long. Thank you so much for that. So yeah, basically, Harams, it's an amazing working group, and I will just we can agree to disagree. It's not a necessarily technical. You don't have need to have a high technical. You can go and learn. You can ask questions. People are there to help you also. So you know, if you're interested in token economics and then you enter to the prompts poll and you feel lost, just it take a while, probably a few weeks, but you will start understanding the concepts and you will start reading more and it will get to you. So it's a very interesting working group. And now they are doing these prompts parties and prompts debates. And this is the highlight of what they are going through right now. They have a lot of haram parties, and the idea is that everyone is welcome to play with the dashboard, which is uh, this, and to submit a proposal, and then eventually to debate, and eventually there will be application to pick the parameters that will sort of govern our space. Just a brief, just if my computer allows me to show the parties that are coming. So the debates that are coming. We have one today at 6 p.m. EST. We have tomorrow two, and then we have on Friday another two. So if you like to know more about prompts and more about token economics, feel free to join. This calendar is public and it's open. So don't hesitate. You're more than welcome to participate. And then we will pass it on to Shui for comms. Shui, what is in comms for creatives?
Hey, well, as I mentioned a little bit early, right now we are recruiting people that have experience in ad agencies, graphic design, social media management, animation, uh, any kind of things that fit into like marketing or stuff like this, because we're putting together teams. Which are the token engineering amplifying messengers, and our mission will be to provide communication services for token engineering related projects. So if you have any experience in any of these fields, feel free to contact us. We are right now trying to put together like all of these teams. And as you know, and as you get more into the DAO space, you'll realize the culture of work is very, very different in these communities, and we are not the exception. The exception. So we are really, really hoping that you can be part of this community. We don't really work as in hierarchical figures or like a boss or stuff like this. We work collectively, and we are really, really passionate about new ways to decentralize creative ideas and be able to collectively work on creative stuff without these vertical structures that sadly the entertainment industry has established in the past century. So yeah, please feel free to join us, experiment with us, and yeah, have fun advancing token engineering, which I feel that in a very, very near future is going to be a discipline that serves creatives and the entertainment industry all over the world.
Thank you. Thank you, Shane, for that. So yes, if you're a creative, please send him a DM or join comms calls, which are on Tuesday, 6 p.m. CET. We have other working groups. We have Omega, which is they talk and they debate about the ethos and the ethics in the token engineering. We have Labs, which right now they are going through a course of Solidity using crypto zombies, and it's an introductory course to Solidity, the programming. And then we have, of course, Communitas, which is the working group that I co-store with him, and it's a working group that's dedicated to things that seems silly, like just designing how the Discord looks, to something more complicated, like the onboarding journey, how people arrive, what questions do we ask them, and it's a working group dedicated to the community building exercises that we apply on our space. And the idea is that this working group also hosts like this call, the orientation call. We also host the TEC Lounge, along with Gravity and Juanca, which is a call on Fridays, 5 p.m. CET. It's a call to meet each other. What did you see last week? What was the last movie that you watched? Anything you want to share with us, because we are human beings, and at the end of the day, you have been a bunch of hours behind the screen, and we seek to connect. And the idea is that will strengthen the bonds in between the community members. So that's a little bit of the concept of the TEC Lounge. The last thing that because I have talked too much today, and before we jump into questions for everyone, so if everyone have a question, I will pass it to you later. I just want to finish with praise. If you go to our Discord right now, you will see that under the tag community, there is a channel just below general that says praise. And praise is something really important for us. And I would like, if it is possible for Cam, to explain a little bit about what is praise, how it works, and how can someone be praised.
Wow. Okay, I wasn't expecting this question to be launched at me, but it's great. Praise is one of the most important parts of our cultural build, actually. Praise is, it serves many different purposes. So, first, it builds a culture of gratitude. There's a way for us to acknowledge and show appreciation of work that's seen or work that's unseen. So it surfaces work that may not be seen, may not be visible to other people. And when you praise someone, then it becomes very visible. So it's a way for us to appreciate the things that are happening, behind the platforms where they're very visible. And then it creates a culture of gratitude in a way to reward us in this community for participating in this community. So praise is a system that was developed at another organization, Giveth, and then Common Stack had adopted it, and then the TEC has adopted it and are now even refining it to be part of a bigger reward system. Anyone can praise anyone else in the community. By default, people don't get that role, but all you have to do is sort of ask on any channel if you can have the praise role, so that you can praise somebody who did something good for you or did something meaningful for you in this community. And praise will be quantified and will result in TEC tokens. So up until the hatch, we had bi-weekly quantifications, and the praise that was accumulated turned into hatch tokens for people. Now, once we follow the commons, once we launch the commons upgrade and the TEC token is live, praise will turn into TEC tokens for people who receive them. So it's not just a way to create this culture of showing and receiving gratitude, to keep the sentiments between people in our community very warm, but also a way to have some sort of tangible monetary or tokeny value to those contributions.
Yeah, and I think praise also is this example of how a token could could have a cultural build and a technical build on it, and how it can be implemented in a community like ours.
Yeah, I'm just gonna jump on it and to say because what's really important here is, like, if we contrast it to the other systems. So praise is it's a qualitative way of surfacing hidden work. We're going to build a reward system we have built a reward system of source cred, which rewards quantitative work. So your participation on the forum, your participation in GitHub, your participation on Discord will be rewarded in a quantitative way, and your interactions with other humans and your the impact that you've had on our community and our community members is what praise serves to reward.
There you go. Thank you so much for that, Pam. And the last 8 minutes that we have, does anyone have any questions? It's an open space now for everyone to ask any questions that you may have about the TEC, about what you just heard, about a working group, about a poll, whatever you feel like that is necessary for you to keep being part of this community, and for also to just have the path more clear for you to navigate our community. So the procedure is easy. Just unmute yourself, and I will pass the word to you whenever you have a question. So it's open, and I will count down to 0 if no one else has a question. Then I will move on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, then I will have questions because I do have. I'm a little bit curious about some of the introductions that we had. I really like your introduction, Lee 007, and I was wondering if you could explain a little bit about this nonprofit governance that you explained a little bit and your background, and and if you have been in the softball calls, because I think it could be a good match for you to also join those calls.
Hey, non-profit governance, so that's just in real life, right? I've worked with social charities, looking at everything from social impact bonds to try and, what's that, for preventative, like instead of people going to prison, ways to keep people out of prison. Worked in soup kitchens, like literally in Redfern, in Sydney, just helping to feed and clothe people. I'm sure there's others. But I'm now, in real life at the moment, I work with a non-profit education. I think education is where I found myself most interested. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly.
Oh yeah, sorry, I thought I might have got like out of zone because I'm out running at the moment. So education, and I guess that's the thing that brings me to Web3 as well. I'm super interested in ways that we can develop like more collaborative and collective sense making for communities. But one of the big barriers at the moment that I see for at least like my whānau and stuff, which is my family out here in TEC Maui, people just don't really know enough about it. So education, onboarding and education are pretty much the areas that I have become most focused on. I came across token economics, like it was not something that I realized that I would really enjoy, do you know what I mean? I'm like, this is great. Like, I think it's just because I have a background that isn't a science, do you know what I mean? And it's nice to do a science where there are answers and there's reasons for stuff. And I feel like, I don't know, something about it appeals to my brain. I love that you guys have here this gravitron. Like, that looks amazing. Right. And so I did have a question as to when the next training might be. And I say that only because, hey, puppy getting attacked by the neighbour's puppy. I studied communications myself, so I know that conflict is natural. And it's really good to hear people like recognizing that and saying that it can be constructive when it's dealt with in the right way. Over at Aragon, we have a focus on non-violent communication. I'm not sure that everyone's quite picking up on that, but these kind of tools I just think will be, like, I can totally see that being used in every other DAO and needing this kind of training and taking on that kind of learning.
Yeah, and answering your question about gravity, Juan can just drop out the call, but I can send you a connection with him so you can be on the loop about the next gravity training and when it will be, so you can be completely aware of that. And also, it would be nice to have a conversation regarding education whenever you are free and whenever you're up to that. I think it will be key for us to have that talk about how we can educate and have more education processes in the TEC.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I am totally getting attacked by the neighbour's puppy, and he's very big, and I'm like swearing at him, and I realise that I still have my phone on. I would love to talk sometime. I will try and get to the community form and put myself in touch with people.
Thank you, and good luck with the puppy. And we are at the top of the hour. Bullshit way. I was just curious to know how did you guys got you here, and what is your point of interest? If you have their budget way, I don't know if I butchered your name. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So this is the top of the hour of the call. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining this call, taking an hour to listen to me, the rest of the community members, and to meet each other. Our DMs are open. If you have any questions that you feel shy to ask here, feel free to ask it publicly or to our DMs. We are happy to help you and to support you in your journey on the TEC. We have this call every week. We are trying to improve it every week as it goes, as we get deeper into this process. But the bottom line, we are here for you, and we will love to hear from you next week or any other time on the working groups. Thank you so much for your time, and have a lovely Wednesday. Take care, everyone.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
See you.